Soon as we step on the mic, man, you notice the difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday, 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Kazual Konvo, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Kazual Konvo, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap in right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every day. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. You know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
The letter is the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell the story.
We gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not just playing.
Look, that black van.
So look. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistols. No,
for real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
Mm-hmm.
The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
Mm-hmm.
It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague, who opened up the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this person later on, he said, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. A few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he said he just over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality
Over 2 decades.
he sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off.
Yeah.
They really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their music.
No positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and put out.
So if you wonder where
And this
Brand
was
Nubians
before
went,
us.
if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Poor Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking,
Yeah.
even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those, you know
Everybody.
what I'm saying? It's a back door.
Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, anything that had a message in it had to go.
Yeah, that's
You know
why
what I'm
if you
saying?
even notice though, not
And we
even,
talk about that all the time.
even be brief with it, you know what I'm saying? Those charms that came out like maybe in 1988, 89, the African
Mm-hmm.
charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely,
Quickly.
definitely. Now, after reading all this, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first emotion I felt was shocked, because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The second emotion I felt was anger. Anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the artist to get the artist to influence and lure in the consumer, which they knew at the time were mainly minorities.
Yep.
In other words, keep promoting gangster rap so that the youngsters will be influenced by them, which in turn will incite them to want to act like them, and it's a very good chance they'll end up in their prison.
Yeah.
So they're getting paid twice. They're getting paid from the artists they signing, and then they're getting paid from the people that these artists influence that goes to prison trying to be like these artists.
Yeah.
So they making a killing.
A killing.
They're using the music business to promote their private prison business.
My man is right there talking that right. 1988, a man named Tom Beasley, man. That's the co-founder of the corrections for Corporation of America. That's the CCA. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French. I'm reading this thing right there real quick. It's the CCA. So in 1988, he founded that, and this is in straight concert with the same thing. So it's like the music business. You do what you do on your side. And
Right.
over here with the corrections facilities, we're going to do on this side and now in 1970, there was 500 prisons. You know what I'm saying? Only 500 prisons in the United States. To this day, there's 1,700 prisons right now. That means big business. I'm talking about that done flippled over. You know what I'm saying? If flippled over is a word.
Yeah.
Because they're making a lot of money off of these things per inmate. You know what I'm saying? So getting with the same thing of the music, it all went hand in hand, and we just partying at the same time.
So us as the artists is the tool they use.
Yeah.
The music is the bait.
Yep.
And the young consumers are the prey. It's a cold game.
Cold game, bro. You know
Cold
what I'm
game.
saying?
Then I felt sad. Sad because everything we seem to try to create, we always seem to give it away. We're always being tricked and deceived into believing that they have our best interests at hand when clearly they never have and they never will. They never will have our best interests at hand. It's blow after blow after blow after blow.
Welcome to the Kazual Konvo show with me, Coco, where we have conversations about topics that affect the community's personal and business relationships. We always have the casual convo, so you don't have to have the tough convo. I got tongue tied. Welcome, and welcome back, Boscoe from the Bronx.
Up, big ups.
How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Tajah probably come. I know people you got used to saying that. She'll probably come in a few minutes. She got a little tied up. So
We can make it work.
you want to dive right into it, or
Hey, let's jump right
it's
into
a lot
it.
to unpack.
Right.
So pretty much, like the video we just saw,
Mhm.
I had sent that to you, a couple of weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
And so I felt like it was deep. I felt like that's something that you don't hear about, is talked about, is kind of swept under the rug, certain things like that. I know we talked about music before and the difference of how music has changed since, we're going to say we were young until now,
Yep.
like from the origin to
Right.
what it's been developed into.
Right.
So I think it's just a lot to impact and how, in our opinion, I'm going to just say for a disclaimer, my view, don't take it for Don't take it for gospel. It's just my opinion. We're going to be here. We're going to talk about it because I think it heavily affects us as a community more so than people think. Because we have children that listen to it, we listen to it, you know, family, friends, and in some type of way, it does influence,
Right.
Heavily on what's going on. So we're gonna go into a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff. All right. So how do you feel about how it's changed?
I saw that video some time ago, and it's on point because a lot of us back then felt how things were changing anyway. It was like, wow, slowly, like he said about you don't see some of the cultural rappers on BET anymore. And I remember when, and then me and you may have spoke about this in the show previously. I remember when your MTV Raps went off the air on MTV and Rap City the Basement. And I remember the last episode of UNTV Raps. Well, not the last, but maybe the second or third to the last. Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, they did a countdown of the best hip hop records. And MC Hammer was number one. And I could see them look in their faces that they were like, no, this ain't this. I mean, if I could never find an episode, I'm gonna send it to you. But they had a look on their faces like, no. Like they were not satisfied with what was chosen. And I guess around 1991, I spoke to a radio DJ in New York who now works on Sirius Radio on the Groove. I won't mention his name, but he works on the Groove. And I remember calling him at the radio station. I said, hey, yo, can you play this song? I wanted him to play Run DMC Down with the King. He said, man, I can't play it right now. And I was like, why? He said, man, they got us playing what they want us to play. I can't play that till tonight. And I was like, wow. At that point, I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, who were they? I didn't know. And then around 93, I was living in Charlotte and I was DJing and I was welcomed to Power 98. And I'll say it because the guy who was there, he is no longer there. And he had this beef. His name was Eddie Owens. Me and him used to talk it up, chop, chop, chop. So, they invited me to the station to do a show. But they told me what I could and could not play. And I said, I'm a hip hop DJ, man. He said, yeah, but we got the sponsors. I said, can I curse? Or, okay. He's like, I was like, man, I don't curse now, but this is what I said, man, fuck them sponsors. I said, I'm playing hip hop. The people want to hear hip hop. Right. So they said, you can't play this, you can play it. So I said, okay, bet. So I got in there. I played like 2 or 3 of the songs they had played. And I looked over at Eddie. He was like, I said, you know what? What they going to do? So I got to do what I do. I started playing some KRS-One and they were looking at me like, and I was like, what they going to do? Are they going to pull the plug on me right now? And he was calling, yo, play this. And I'm like, I got it. And I was just Commercial break came. They said, unplug your stuff, man. Just like that, unplug your stuff. I was like, why? He said, what did we tell you? I said, I'm a hip hop DJ. You're not going to tell me what to play. And then around 97, and a lot of old heads will tell you around 97, that's everything shift. And I don't want to take over your show.
No, but do you? This isn't like.
And I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers right here. And when I do this, I don't mean anything personal, but you know what? The corporation tried to shut down hip hop when it first started, calling it violent. When it first started, there was no violence in hip hop. It wasn't called hip hop, it was called rap. There was no violence. You had Grandmaster Cash, you had Grandmaster Flash, you had the Crash Coco. No violence. But they called it violent because it was inner city kids rocking the mic, packing up the parks, ain't nothing going down. Yeah. So they kept trying to trying to shut it down. And then when they started building with Public Enemy in 85 and the X-Clan and Def Jeff, everybody started saying, yo, and they was pulling white kids into it. You got white kids rocking Public Enemy shirts, And this is what I'm gonna piss people off. The corporation could not make New York rappers sell out. They could not make them sell out. New York rappers had a lock on. This is why New York rappers, not now, but this is why New York had a hard time with people outside of the city getting into it. Because like, this is our thing. NWA came around 88, 89, after Police. And like, oh, hell yeah. But you know what? How did they break it up? They had to attack. They got Jerry Heller. We talked about this other show. Jerry Heller went after Eazy-E and all of them. That's why Ice Cube quit. We got to stop this stuff. These guys have got people like, you know, they're black. They're reminding each other they're black. So they broke them up. They went from F the Police to let's do a drive-by. And then the West Coast came along. And the West Coast talked about what? Drive-by shootings. That's when things started changing.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Not to cut you off. Do you think, because I remember around that time, because you remember like 2 Live Crew, it really kicked off with them. And when they did the whole thing about the censorship. So I think it really became an issue, like you said, when people outside of the African-American community was listening to it, when you had the Caucasians, you know, the Italians, everybody else getting in on it, that's when it was like, okay, this is a problem. Because now it wasn't just in the cities, it was going out spreading wide. Yeah.
Remember they did that with rock and roll with Elvis Presley. Because you know, Big Mama Thornton and Chuck Berry doing it. Little Richard. But Elvis came around and made it bigger. Let's get these niggas out of here. Yeah. And let's take it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And like they said in the video, we always give our shit away. We don't fight for it. And when the New York rappers started fighting for it, everybody started hating New York rappers. Like, now forget y'all. And even now they say, forget your old dudes. But you got LL Cool J, 30 years in the game. Busta Rhymes, 30 so years in the game. Still doing it. Snoop, 30 years in the game. Still doing it, but they want to get rid of the old heads because the old heads are trying to bring back what we had.
Yeah, you can even tell the verses because people when they had that Big Daddy Kane, people was on it when
look at Jada when the Locks battled. What's the name? That was hip hop. That was hip hop.
And that was New York.
Yeah, that was hip hop. Right, and see. These young kids like, oh, y'all, let us have this. No, because see, y'all are trying to erase the culture. Y'all don't realize these guys, like, I always wonder how these rappers who are, and I'm going to keep it, a lot of these rappers are garbage, period. Let's keep it 100. A lot of them are garbage. But you see them, Jay-Z was telling these kids in 444 on the album, The Story of OJ, cut it out. All y'all with these money phones, putting money to your ear, that's not what we call money over here. He's trying to tell these guys, cut it out. When you get your money, rinse it in the neighborhood. Basically, get that money and do something. But them Southern rappers, this one will piss them off. The Southern rappers looked at it like, oh, he's taking a shot at us. No, he was spitting game to y'all. He was telling y'all, look, the money you making, because some of these rappers, I'm looking at like, stacks of money, your shit ain't that hot. I don't even know who you are. And I'm like, where are they getting this money from? Where's it coming from? Then you hear, oh, this rapper was doing this. He got shot. Because, you know, we came up, our rappers didn't get killed all the time. You might hear one here. Now you see one every week. These kids didn't
even they would battle out in the studio.
In the street, in studio, yeah. All's good. KRS-One and MC Shan had one of the heatest battles. Heatest beats. KRS-One and LL Cool J had one of the biggest beats. But you know what? They never fought it out. Let's get on the mic. But these dudes are killing each other. They ain't even past 25 years old. But see, that's how the system did. The system say, hey, here's this $25,000. Make me this record. And see, the way they do it, the radio, and me working on radio, I can say it's a fact. The way they do it on radio is, let's just say Lil Wayne, and I'm not calling out Lil Wayne. I'm just using an instance. Say he's some young rapper who's talking about bitches, hoes, how large my chain is. No, say he's one of those. Then you have Rhapsody, who is a dope MC. She is insane. Now they say, okay, we got to make Wayne, and I said this is not a shot at Wayne. It's not. I'm just giving an example. We got to make Wayne hot because of what he's talking about. The way they do it, the reason you're here, and we might have spoke about this last show, and we're going to get to the A&R man eventually. The way they do it is they play the song 2, 3, 4 times an hour. That's why you hear it so much. Because after a certain amount of plays, it becomes a hit. And that hit me because of that, the station, they get all this money. But being they get all this money, this artist, Lil Wayne, or whoever it is getting the money too. So it's making him a hit. So he could talk about, I'm going to smack your mama in her face and shoot your dog. But then playing 3, 4 times an hour, it's like you grow with it. Like
you force them people to like it. Because I can hear something, I'm like, I don't really like that. And then everywhere you go, if you hear it and you keep hearing it, eventually you start singing it. Or when you hear, you're like, oh, that's all right, that's okay. Because it's like you being forced to.
Force feed. DMX said, feed black people enough dog shit, they'll learn to put barbecue sauce on it.
Thanks.
And that's what they're force feeding. Like, yo, that's hot. Because I'm hearing a lot of songs, I'm like, that's just whack. That's what I'm saying. That's just what you talk. And I'm like, you can talk. Go ahead, you speak. Because I'm getting hyper.
That's why I asked you to do it, because I know you're real passionate about this shit thing. It's refreshing, it's enlightening, and it's a lot of this stuff a lot of people don't know. So I know people listening, watching, probably like, huh? And even if they go and look it up, it's right there.
Right.
But when you mentioned the A&R person and how the talent is there, so remember back then they would be like, you had to really impress certain people, or you had to have a sound, you had to be distinct, you had to be unique. It was like more authentic. They didn't want you to sound like everybody else. They wanted something fresh. So, and that's what your A&R person was looking. They was looking for that you had to have.
Right.
And then when that started phasing out, it's like you started to get the more lack of substance.
Yeah, because if
you
you
know what I mean,
when we were coming up,
yeah,
when we were coming up, we had KRS-One. He had his own style. LL Cool J, own style. Public Enemy, own style. You can go on down. Everyone sounded different because you had to bring that with the A&R man. Because me and my homies, we had an offer with Sleeping Bag Records. They're gone now, but back then they had Just Ice, Mantronics. They had a lot of artists, and it was an independent label. And we had an offer because they heard, we had a tape. We took it down to the guy. He was like, I like it. But I think I told you, he told a rap, because I was the DJ and the producer. He told them, okay, y'all sound too much like Run DMC. He said, y'all can rock it together, but y'all need to, have your own flow. They didn't want to do that. So they said, okay, you don't want to do that? We don't need any more Run DMCs. They took out, the dude took our tape. We had a cassette, a TDK cassette, 90-minute TDK. He was like, I don't need it. He threw it right in the trash right in front of us. And we stood there like, yeah. He said, I don't want to listen to that shit. So we went to get the tape out. It was broken. Because he was like, he threw it in the trash. So I'll make sure these guys don't. He broke it. He said, y'all had a chance to make money. Y'all had a chance to be favorites. But y'all want to be like somebody else. And me and the dude that was with me that helped me produce, we was like, yo, we don't want to be like anybody else. He said, but y'all part of the group. He said, I'm not going to take you because you're part of them. He said, I'm here to sign off for y'all. That was our contract. And see, from there, Universal called us. And Universal wasn't doing rap music at the time. They were just doing movies. But they called us. They said the same thing. The dude, we had a tape. He said, I don't want to hear your tape. He said, what do you got? So I was, banging on the desk, and my homie was doing the voice, the music with his mouth. The two dudes we had were rapping. He said, y'all sound just like Run DMC. And I was like, I looked at them too, like, like, it was like, well, we're inspired by Run DMC. In my mind, I'm like, I wasn't inspired by Run DMC. And he said, y'all don't have nothing else? He said, nah, that's who we are. He said, okay, thank you. And he had a contract sitting right there in our faces. All they had to do was kick their own type of verse. That's all they had. He had a contract right there for all four of us. Right there. We read it and was like, this is it. We got back to the hotel room and we fought it out.
Really?
We literally fought it out. We all four of us, me and the guy that helped produce, we fought them too. We fought it out. And
Are you serious?
yeah, we fought it out. We slugged it out in there. It was a battle royal. Yep.
Let me ask you this quick question.
Yeah.
When we talking about the talent thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how this is probably a little off topic, but when we said like how you had to have that unique sound in order because they wanted that, you know, to keep it going, but they wanted the distinctive nobody because you had to get that from that person.
Right.
So remember how that was. And so do you notice like now even artists who may have a different sound or effect to them, they pretty much push to the side. Everybody is like, oh, this is what's in right now. So we want this sound, this thing. And so everybody is like sounding like you can't really differentiate who's who.
Yeah.
Because everybody sounding like, I don't know who's, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know.
This is what you do. This is what you do. And whoever's listening out there, this is what you do. Take the top 10 hottest songs out right now, rap songs. And I can promise you, 6 of them will sound just like this. They will have a cymbal that sounds like, I don't have it. That sounds like a ratchet, like a, or else, you know how you turn a bicycle tire backwards? I bet you hear that sound. That's one. They all got the same tempo. Same tempo. It's like 70, 75, 78 beats per minute. All the rappers have this type of cadence. Yo. They all sound the same. And when they listen to those 10 songs, I'm telling you, at least 6 of them will have that. Go watch the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Hey, remember when he was on the train and he had the, you know, the makeup, what's his name, had the makeup on? And he said, hey, we used to do the college studies at some college, and him and Dan Aykroyd like, the booyah, bop. That's how these rappers sound today. They all have the same cadence, the same beats, the same tempo, the same subject matter. With the women, the female rappers today do not speak knowledge. All of them are saying, I'm a bitch, I'm a hoe, I'm this, I'm that. I'm gonna have your man, I'm gonna have your money, da-da-da-da. That's all you hear out of female rappers today. Straight up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, that's all you hear out of female rappers. And the dudes and the females saying, I got this punani for you, you can't handle it, da-da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. And the dudes are saying, I'm gonna F you this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna put the gold on your neck. So you hear.
And they shooting everybody up in the neighborhoods and everything else. Right. So it's kind of like that. So do you think I know the A&R person is pretty much, and it kind of like say, I'm sorry, hi Tajah. Hi. I'm sorry, she's
I see her standing there. Yeah.
Right. You can't even introduce me, no nothing. It was Flower. You supposed to just like, hey, no.
Yeah, I know. The screen went dark, and then she was there. I said, man, that's a good magic trick. All right. That's your daughter?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yo, I ain't trying to be funny. And y'all listeners, this is just me. Yo, you cute for real. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Feel like a mother.
Yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk music.
Okay. We're partly on. That was funny.
I think
Sorry, you gotta stop
about the A&R guy.
Okay, because that kind of like phased out.
Right
under everybody's noses, but nobody made a big fuss because of how it was done and how talent was done. So, but when it comes to the management piece, you don't really hear people talk about management, or do you think people really just manage themselves, and that's why they get in situations that they get into? Because that's why you see so many artists now. Even like before, you had a bunch of different hands. Granted, true, but I think it was a little bit more structured. Yeah. Even though they could just throw a contract in your face, and because you want a couple dollars, you did it, which is also more so now. But because they don't have that management piece, and a lot of people don't lawyer up or do whatever they got to do to read over the contracts, they just signing deals because of, all right, let me get this coin, like the sign-on bonus and this and that, and they taking that up front and they forgetting about longevity.
Yeah.
Right.
And how that's done. So how do you feel about, like, because even with that, I think the management piece is also pretty much phasing out.
Yeah, basically everybody's on, like, what's it called? What's that word? Oh, don't say that word. Okay, I won't say that word.
She was jumping again, sorry.
I wouldn't know the word, but I'll talk about it. I think back then, you had management really kept you in order. They looked out for you or whatever. I mean, you had some shady ones. I know KRS-One, when Boogie Down Production came out, they got a trashy deal, and on the next album, when they got the independence, they said how they got jerked around, and see, the problem today is these guys are put on by their homies, and their homies, it's the yes man syndrome. Their homies said, yo, man, I got you. The only one who was legit was Master P. I wasn't a big fan of No Limit, but I got to say, he treated his roster on point. He's like, look, y'all going to get your money. He didn't try to jerk them around, nothing like that, because that's how he was. So I give him props. But
and he knew to do with his money too.
Yeah. But see, a lot of these guys today, they are with their homies. And the homies say, do this, do that, do this, do that. They're not going to say, yo, man, you shouldn't do that, man. Because blah, blah is going to happen. Nah, do it, man. And then you have the dumbass fans who urge that stuff up. They get on social media, rapper Lil Doodoo, he hardcore, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as he gets shot, I can't believe he got shot. Why can't you believe he got shot? This nigga was out there shooting people. Talk about what he's gonna do. Because somebody made a diss record about him. And I'm like, that's why when these dudes die, I'm like, that's one less whack rapper I gotta listen to. Deuces. You know what I mean? And they don't have any guidance. And see, that was all, like the video said, that all goes into it was set up that way. Because back in the 80s, artists was like, yo, no matter what beef was going on, like the Fresh Fest, no matter what beef was going on, they got on stage and rocked it, and they looked out after each other. And, 20, 30 years later, Busta Rhymes and everybody, they're still friends, still do, even though it's a competition.
Yeah.
But these guys today, they don't want competition, and they got people in their ears saying, look, nah, man, forget that. And their so-called manager is just as ratchet as they are. Because the artist is helping them feeding them. So they're not going to say, yo, don't do this. Like with Tupac, I'm going to make a lot of people mad. I love Tupac to death. But you know what? He is the reason why he's dead. When he came out with Digital Underground, he was doing his thing. He came out with his records. But when he got with Suge Knight, his days were numbered. And Suge, because Pac always said, I'm not a gangster. I'm selling records.
Yeah.
But he had Suge in his ear over here, and he had them dumb knuckleheads who thought Thug Life means being a gangster when he was saying Thug Life isn't about being a gangster. Thug Life is about coming from the gutter and surviving. But people are like, oh, Thug Life, he wasn't talking about guns, dummy. And see, God bless his soul, I love Tupac, but it goes to people in your ear. They're not in your ear to say, yo, man, look, do this. And I don't understand these new rappers, how you're getting this money, but you still want to be in the streets. So then you get killed and your family's boo-hooing, your fans boo-hooing, and they get mad at you because you say, look, man, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Oh, why are you hating? Ain't nobody hating, that's the truth.
You know what makes me sick?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. It just came to my head. So you know how a rapper died?
Yeah.
I don't know who the rapper is. Never heard him from Timbuktu.
We were just saying that. We were just saying that. We don't know who that.
Everybody's like, he's so legendary.
Yeah.
Literally had that conversation. And that's where they're saying, like, people don't recognize you till you gone. And it's kind of like, I'm like, who that? And then
you know what?
I don't know who that is. You don't even.
They changed so many lives. I'd be like, man,
Weird.
And I ain't never heard one song, not even underground. I ain't never seen a battle. I ain't never seen nothing. And it's kind of like, what? And
these are the rappers. These are the rappers. I didn't know who the hell they were until they died. That Double X Tentacion dude. What's the kid with the Juice WRLD. I didn't know who the hell he was till the day he died.
Who is it?
Juice WRLD.
Are you talking about Tentacion? What's his name?
whatever his name is, with the 2 X's and the 10 tentacles, whatever his name was. The kid that got killed in Florida a few years ago, light-skinned kid. Somebody shot him in his car.
I'm trying to think of
you talking about the XXX person?
Yeah, him.
Different people.
I didn't know him till the day he died. I never heard of him.
X are 2 different people.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know who this dude was. I heard of Young Dolph maybe 3 months ago. Never knew nothing about him. Just heard his name.
I didn't know about Young Dolph.
Was the truth.
I didn't know nothing. When he got killed, I was like, I had never heard a song of him.
I didn't know his name, but I had heard his music.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a lot of these guys, I didn't hear about them until they died. I'm like, who is this dude? That's why if you see on my Facebook page, I'd be like, who is this nigga?
Like, who?
How is he doing all this stuff, and how is he one of the greatest rappers of all time when I'm dead in hip hop? And I never heard of this dude. That's why I call them pop rappers. I don't call them rappers. I call them pop rappers because that's what they are.
And then most of them are usually popping wherever they from or whatever coast they on. They may know about them, but they haven't like branched over. Like a couple of people might, like here and there. But because I know where he's from, like Dolph, where he's from, he's like that.
He's like freaking the president there. Yeah. But see, I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't know the good stuff he was doing. I didn't know. I heard his music, but I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, oh, that's that dude. You know, Juice WRLD. I was like, who?
I know who he was. I just can't think of the song.
That's what I'm saying. I know nothing about him. I just know. And the other cat that died on.
Hold on. Well, it's saying that you see how she just said I can't think of the name of the song.
Yeah.
So that's what we were like talking about. But when you hear certain people who you really like and they connect and they got that something that's you remember something that you heard from them, you can do a little skedaddle or something, a little hook, a little race. But when it's not that impactful, and okay, I heard that before. It's sorry, it's a little cute, but it sounds the same. So if you hear something about like, I mean, not going with like a LL Cool J or something, nobody can be like, I can't even remember. You're like, I need love because it's something that's
like okay, it's like even a DMX, you be like, oh, that's DMX. You know, but these guys,
you're gonna just like, ooh.
But these guys,
I know I overheard y'all talking about how all the music sound the same, but even their voices sound the same too.
Yes.
I can't even tell who they are. I'd be like, oh, that's the baby, and they be like, that's not the baby. I'm like,
that's what I mean. That's what I was saying about cadence. They all sound. They all have that. Watch Trading Places and watch the part when they were on a train. You like that sounds just like rappers today. They got that same cadence. Like Lil Baby, his lyrics are nice, but his voice, I don't know if he's using auto-tune or he just sound like he's
that voice is unique. Everybody know Lil Baby voice.
But you know his voice.
No, honestly, I get Lil Baby and Lil Durk confused. I don't know them apart. I listen to they got the little joint out because I said I try to give everything a chance. And it's a couple of little things. What's the song I listen to? I think it's Lil Baby when he was with Future.
No, I think we need to talk about how we need to tell your fans something real quick. I just want y'all to know this woman, your fans. Yes, you did. I just want y'all to know something about this chick right here. She will listen to everything and anything, okay? And loud as heck and early in the morning. It'd be sick. She wake up 7:30. All you hear is Kevin Gates. And then next thing you know, you hear R&B, and then it go back to Fantasia, and then they come back and you listening to Tupac, and then she's like, "Oh, that's my song."
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something about that.
It depends. It gets me right.
That's old. That's old school because I gotta admit, when I was coming up, my moms would play Al Green. Then you hear freaking Unlimited Touch. Then you hear Barry White. Then you hear.
Ask her about old school.
Huh?
She ain't telling you that. Ask her about the old school.
You said, tell me what? Tell about the old school.
Mm-hmm.
What about it?
So she want to talk about me.
What about it?
Oh, that's old school. Cause see, it goes. Look,
no, this one will. She'll be doing anything, and next thing you know, you hear Lenny, and then you'll hear Earth, Wind, and Fire. Then you'll hear the OJ talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I like this kind of stuff. I said, well, where you get that from? You. But you talk about me for playing it. But you.
I give you credit. I give you credit. But see, I give you credit on that because see, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 24.
You got. That's that old soul. I'm cool with that because a lot of these kids, Earth, Wind, who's that? You know what I mean?
She got it from me, but she always talk about.
But see, that's what it goes to what I was saying.
Turn around and be like, you need to turn that off. I don't know. You just not that old.
But see, that's what I was saying.
Later, she playing the same song. Talking about it was alright, and next thing you know, she's singing all the words.
It's stuck in my head. So now
I gotta. You know why it's stuck in your head? Because that old school has that certain sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you don't hear today.
It feeds your soul, your spirit.
Yes,
right.
it did.
It's a connection.
Trey Songz said the other day, R&B does not sing love no more. There's no I love you in R&B. Now it's I just want to F you now. That's how they say I love you in today's music. I can't.
You broke me.
Like, ain't no more Rick James, Smokey Robinson, Ebony Eyes. I'm like, come on now.
Nobody is out here loving no more. Nobody is loving. Man, please. Everybody is breaking up and fighting.
But see, when you say stuff like that, they say, oh, you're hating on our music. No, I'm just loving what I like. I love what I come up with. And they don't, a lot of people in this generation of music, and I'm even saying older people, when I say this generation, I mean society right now, it's like you're supposed to let it go, but they keep forgetting that this is what built what you have, you know? And it goes back to Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J, and all them. They say, oh, them are oldies, but you know what? They're still at the top of their game. 30 years later. LL came out in 1984. Here it is, 2022. Looks the same. He just bulked up more. Sounds the same. Still had the skills. Busta Rhymes came out in 1988. Look at him. Still, in fact, he's better now, even though he was dope back then. He's better now than he was back then. DMX, God Bless His Soul, came out in 1995. But up until his death, he was still, and people realize Eminem came out in 91. You know, and here it is, 2022.
Still killing it. That's how I feel about it. You can put on Slick Rick right now. I'm gonna go off.
Slick Rick. Everything was that's what I mean. Everything back then. This is why people say I don't get rid of the 90s, because everything back then was so unique. You pull out a rapper from back then, you say, oh, he had this. But today, you got Lil Baby, the Baby, Lil Durk, Lil this, Lil that, Lil this, Lil that.
No, everybody's a baby now.
Everybody's a baby.
So you got the baby, Lil Baby,
yeah.
Come on, hang me out. You got
they don't want to be big.
You got Lil Wayne. You got Lil Durk. You got Lil Baby. You got Lil.
You want to know why? Because when they was out on the streets, they'd be like, "They go Lil, what's his name?" So they just like Lil stay.
But dang, man.
So you gonna be like 60 trying to perform something about bring out Lil?
They just go no.
At least I give Bow Wow credit.
Cut off the little.
Bow Wow was Lil Bow Wow, but as soon as he became a man, he was like, "I'm Bow Wow."
Yeah,
Romeo.
You still, but to the consumers, that's the product. You still Lil, and that's why he can't escape that.
Young Dolph was 35, 36.
He be trying so hard not to be Lil Bow Wow, but look at them cheeks. They just, it's the cheeks.
Anyway,
I was trying not to.
You know what? It's a old saying we have in New York. Rap used to be chess. Now it's a monopoly.
Yeah.
Back then, you had to have skills. Real skills. Now people just say, "Oh, he's spitting bars" by saying, "I want to F your girlfriend," and then you punch you in your face. Those ain't bars. You know.
So, how do you feel about the because even with that being said, like your talent is your talent. Even if somebody recognizes, wants to sign you, do all of those things, if they know they can make money off of you, you know they gonna push it, right?
Right.
So, compared to back then, of course the money different, but when it comes to the contracts, you would think more people will pay attention to like, what is it, like their masters, their like royalties, things like that, or it would be something in the contract. Do you think they get so concerned with the sign on more so than because everybody like, I'm gonna get this deal and they want to floss, but they not thinking about you got to get in the studio, distribution. Right. You got all of these different things. That's going to come out of your money before you see anything. And that's why they like, we got to do shows. So that's why you see damn near every rapper or musician, especially amongst our community, they start getting into like podcasts. And you ain't never seen them like this. They utilizing that because they couldn't do the shows no more. That's where they was getting their money from, was getting the shows. But even from the shows, they still only getting a percentage because they don't have ownership.
And see, that's the thing. A lot of the contracts, like the contract me and my boys had, both of them, the one with Universal and Sleeping Bag, there was no mention about masters. No master, no mention about you only a masters. Like in music, you got your publishing rights. That means you wrote the song. Your masters, is your music that you did. But see, the thing is, when you look at those contracts, it says you'll get an advance of so-and-so. You get a bonus of so-and-so. You have to produce the X amount of albums during this time. So they see, like Megan got jerked around. She did all that music. She only got $5,000 out of all that stuff she did because...
And she had to fight. Yeah, if she wasn't with...
Torben.
But The Rock, I think she wouldn't have been able to fight that case like that.
Right.
She was getting jerked, even though they probably jerking her case too, but still, they might not be jerking her as raw as she got jerked.
I know one thing, they getting her into all them sponsorships though.
But see, they own her name.
That's for them though too.
Right, that's the
thing. That's why I was asking about the management. Because they're not gonna push you. You still gotta be beneficial to them. Yeah. Nobody's gonna push you if it's still at the end of the day. Capitalization is there. Yeah. You give them no matter what you do, whoever you're under, whatever you do, they're going to get something off of you. The thing is, they get as much as worth of your talent and not to give somebody full possession and control it.
That's why, like with me, like the stuff I wrote, I still got music I wrote, and I got it copywritten because that means I own that now. That's mine. So if I sign a deal with anyone, me and this guy, we're gonna have to negotiate publishing rights because I'm not letting you get my publishing rights because that means you got the rights to my music that I made. I bust my ass doing. And see, they see these big bonuses and all this stuff. Like Mary J. Blige, I think she's like $19 million in debt because she got all these bonuses. Whenever you see an artist do a lot of concerts, they doing it because they're trying to make the money because they're not making. You get 10 cents.
And she got paid that alimony too.
Right. And see, when most contracts with big record companies, you get 6 cents. Let me see. I think it's like you get like maybe 30% of what you should get because you got to pay distributor, you got to pay your producer, you got to pay your engineer, you got to get the company back their money. I think it's like 6 cents on the dollar. That's what you make. 6 cents on the dollar. That's pennies, man. 6 cents on the dollar. And it's like with the streaming. People say, oh, so-and-so got 1 million streams. Okay, good. He made $50. Because when you stream, Prince said he had like 1 million streams, and of that 1 million streams, he made $1,400. So you like 1 million people heard your music, and you didn't make not even 10% of the money it took you to make that song.
But you see what he did, though, right?
Yeah.
You see what he did, though. And when he changed his name, when he changed the name to a symbol, and then he took control of his brand, of him, and then you couldn't even stream his music. You could not find his music on no platform. You wanted it, you had to literally purchase.
You had the physical copy. The physical
Yeah,
copy.
you had to purchase his music. You couldn't just go and say here, because the thing was like he knew, but he was also trying to tell like other artists. Like I was watching an interview with like people like such as Alicia Keys, and she was saying the same thing. Like he was giving her the education about certain things and her talent and how to move around. And pretty much he wouldn't directly say it, but he would throw hints. But a lot of people wasn't catching into it until after his passing. And now you see now what happened with the battle over his properties, his music, and because he had so much in the vault, and then now you can stream his music.
He it's like that's what I said about Jay-Z. I'm not a big Jay-Z fan, but when he made the song Story of OJ, Southern rappers got mad. And he said, y'all still taking advances while me and my niggas are taking real chances. He was telling y'all taking this upfront money when y'all can own your own shit if you go for it. Y'all on the ground with money.
But go get your money.
Y'all on the ground with this money here. Oh, we don't call that money over here. He was trying to tell these guys, but they took it personally. Like he said, y'all something, but I'm trying to hit y'all the game for $9.99. I'm telling you guys, this is what you do. Own your shit. And they took it personal. They got mad. Your Future, but I got diamonds. Nigga, he trying to tell you.
He talk a lot about Percocets. He get high.
That's why his wife. That's why his girlfriend's with Russell Wilson living the life.
But he got a girlfriend. He was high.
Yeah, with about 9 kids too. He got one on the way.
That's why he's making babies.
What rapper don't get high?
That's what he talking about.
J. Cole get high.
But he promotes that.
Yeah, J. Cole owns his shit. He owns his music.
That's
he
true.
owns his music.
That's
like Kendrick. They own their music.
Yep.
Because I know that one album.
That's why you see people trying to boost them like that.
Right.
They got real supporters.
Yeah. So I mean, and when you try to tell people this stuff, they get mad saying you hating. The problem is people think having a difference of opinion is hating. No, I'm trying to tell you. Like, I have a lot of rappers around here, they want me to listen to their demos. And I say, look, I'm like Siskel and Ebert times 10. I'm a harsh critic. And when I say, yo, man, this shit's whack. Why are you hating? So basically, if you came in and gave me your little CD and I said it's dope, it's great. But because I told you the truth about your song, I'm hating on you, huh? This shit's whack.
Trash is trash.
Yeah, and I got a grading system. I say, look, this is my grading system. Do you want me to look at your shit, listen to your music? Yeah. And I give everyone a 25-second courtesy listen. If you can't catch me by 25 seconds, I'll tell you, yo, you shit whack. I'll just turn on, you shit whack, dude. And they be getting mad.
You used to see some people like they about to kill it, and they be like, next.
Yeah, you shit whack.
Like, nothing.
That's why around here, I don't get gigs. When I DJ or whatever, I go out of town. And a lot of rappers, they won't deal with me here because I'm like, this shit's up. Man, I'm not sharing the stage with you. This shit's whack. Hell no, I'm not putting my name on you. Come on, man. No. Just like if your mama ugly, I'm not taking her out to eat. Because that's my reputation. I'm not taking no crackhead out to eat. Hell no, I'm not that desperate. It's just whack, man. It's just whack. Because see, I got as good as I am because
Nope.
I'm done.
What's up?
We gonna take a 5 minute because you on the road. That took me out of here. I got recoup.
All right, that's cool.
Like, damn, that's the one he got.
It's just whack. Take the 5-minute break. Cheers to the 5 minutes. Break.
We gonna come right back, and I want you to finish that because I gotta hear about this mother.
Yo, not the mother.
All right.
We'll be right back. It's usually me. That's the lead.
Okay.
And talking. So back to you not taking out the ugly mother. So
you said what?
Back to you not taking out the ugly mother.
Oh no, the point I'm making is like
his Facebook post.
The point I'm making is, you already know me. I speak my mind. Even when I came to Baltimore that time, I'm who I am. And I'm not. If you're gonna come to me and you want me to listen to music, you have to be able to accept constructive criticism. And what I'm finding with these guys today, they don't like to be told their shit is whack. They don't want to improve. When I started DJing, there's a guy named T-Ski Valley. He made a song called Catch the Beat. He said, look, yo, I want to see what you got. He said, if you whack, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what he told me. Cause I used to do. So he took me to his basement. I got on his turntables and I started mixing. He said, all right. He said, you know, I wasn't gonna beat your ass, I was gonna beat your boy's ass. He said, so you saved them. And I was like, oh shit. And so I helped him make his song. He gave me a little money. I'm like 15 at the time though. So he gave me somebody to make his song. And anytime I did something, I always tell somebody, yo, give me your honest opinion. Don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. Because I wanted to be good at what I did. You know, I used to watch Grandmaster Flash and all of them do their thing. And I said, I would go home and say, I'm gonna try that. Try to go behind my back, between my legs, do all that stuff. I said, okay. And somebody said, yo, you gotta work harder. And I was like, all right. And then I would just keep on doing stuff till I said, I would just battle people. And I said, if I beat this guy, I know I'm good. If I beat this guy, I know I'm good. And now I was just knocking DJs off. So then I said, I'm good. It may sound conceited or whatever, but I proved how good I am. And I always tell people, I'm hip hop culture since the day it came out. And I'm like, you got to bring that shit, man. Don't just give me anything and say, yo, man, but my homie said, your homie is not going to tell you your shit is whack. He's not going to tell you that because he's going to call you a hater.
Today.
You said what?
I said, I know he's not on the show today, but we love Twan Dawn. That's my man. I'm sorry. Oh. He's the same way though. Like he likes constructive criticism. Like he'll send me music and he'll be like, hey, yo, tell me the truth, the honest truth, nothing but the truth. I'm like, I don't like the auto-tune. The beat sucked in the beginning. Like,
don't get on auto-tune. Oh my God.
But he don't need the auto-tune.
A lot of people don't need it.
A lot of people don't know that about him, but like back when we used to work together, he used to always rap, always used to sing everything. And at first, like he would only rap when he first came out with actually making music. He would only rap until I actually talked to him and was like, "You have such a nice voice. You need to really let people hear that. Let people hear your voice."
And see, what people don't realize is the reason Yo, what up? Are you there?
Oh, he said, Rick said it makes people sound bad. I had to read what he said.
Oh.
I couldn't.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I thought something was wrong on this end. I was like.
And by the time it passed away, I ain't read it. I missed it.
Yeah, and see, with auto-tune, people don't realize, I always say auto-tune is not you. That's not you rapping. That's something enhancing your voice. Like, even people who sing with it, I'm like Future, I don't care what anybody say. Future is whack. Period. Period. He's trash. He sounds like somebody's choking him underwater. Gargling. Gargling, whatever he's gargling. But that's how he sounds. He sounds like he's gargling.
Them hurts.
That too. And that's how auto-tune sounds. I call them Autobot rappers because you use your voice because people want to hear your emotion. The young people, forget the young people, okay? He's still whack.
Young person.
Are you reading?
He's still whack.
Oh, the young people
whack is whack. I don't care if he's young or old.
Hold on. But wait a minute, most of the young people, I'm a disclaimer, not you, because I'm okay. Some people, so two of the young people listening, sorry, if you listen to Little Future, they be high too.
They do. And see, and
that's the only way to listen to them. Like,
right. To the person, and I'm not dissing the person who said that young people. I said, when I say young people like him though, that's the problem. People co-sign this bullshit.
All right,
forget my friends.
I'm gonna admit one thing. He had a song, March Madness. I heard it when I was watching the game and the team was into it. I said, what's that song? But I didn't hear the words. So I kept listening to it because I never understood the words. Then one day, I think I was in my office, you know my stuff. And I was listening to the words and I said, oh, wow, I don't think I like this.
But like I said, he's a very good producer. He makes good.
The people hard, but that's how they get people. They bring you in with the beat. But then when you really take time to listen to what they saying,
trash.
And then it's like, what really gets you, not even only that, you ever hear a song, you might like the song, but then you might hear a child sing the song.
Yeah.
And you be like, that is trash. But then when you think about it, you're listening to trash.
Mm-hmm.
And see, like I say, back to the guy whoever wrote that, that's the problem. People co-sign that shit. Well, young people like him though. So what? That don't, you know? So I'm like, but he's a good producer.
Man, we be going.
He makes good music. He makes real good music. But I'm like
it's we going through stuff.
I'm gonna tell you something about Future. This is what happened with me, Future, a couple of weeks ago. He got me. He got my account snatched on Facebook, on Twitter. I got it back. Yes, I will show you this. I was saying
on this because can you answer me one question? You ain't gotta be 5 minutes. You can answer 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Why the hell do you keep going and like? You're the only person I know stay locked up on social media. Every time you turn around, you're like, damn, I ain't saying.
This is what happened. When he was talking about how
like, sorry, you ought to had me down, and I'm like, how you getting up? You just got out.
This is what happened. He was off. He had challenged saying he can beat Jay-Z in the verses. But he posted something. I'm more big in the streets than Jay-Z is. So what I did, I got some pictures of Jay-Z and Beyonce with their little kids, and I got pictures of Russell Wilson and Ciara with their little kids. I said, and I put a caption, while you were out there in those streets. And next thing you know, Twitter sent me things saying, we're suspending your account for harassment and da-da-da. So I post up there, I disputed. I said, yo, he out there trashing other people. About a week later, gave me my account back. But then I got my account taken again because of KD. Because I went in on him. I had to appeal that. And they actually sent me messages through, through my email. And I said, yo, he trashing this little girl, this little boy for dribbling the basketball. And I said, he's dead ass for that. And they gave me my account back. But Future got my account taken. But he started that shit. And see, that's the problem with these. And I'm not saying, and look, and I know your daughter's 24, 25. I'm not saying it, and I'll get off the subject because I know we killing the time. And this is not against.
I wanted to know. Every time I turn around, I'm trying to tell you. I see him for like a good 2-3 days.
My mind.
He done violated probation, and next thing you know, he like they got me for 30 days this time. You be like,
I speak my mind.
And then hear him be on the DM like, my bad, I can't.
The problem with people today, and I hope that listener is listening. The problem with people today, everybody is yes men, and everyone follows everybody. No one's there to say, okay, nah, wait a minute, blah blah blah. Everybody follows the leader. You know what I mean? No one got. That's why I say I'm Gen X. We are the generation that they start the don't try this at home. That was our generation that got that thing started. Cause as kids, we did crazy shit. These dudes today, and even the ones 30 years old, 40 years old, they're part of this nonsense because they act like little kids too. They co-sign bullshit because they're afraid to step out. And whoever gets offended, my name is Agent Salam. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook is Big Boscoe Productions. I'm on Twitter. I'm the Big Boscoe Productions. I'm on Instagram, /Magician. If you got any problem with anything y'all said, we can talk about it. But
that's why you get taken down.
Yep.
And you get
y'all niggas, forgive me for saying niggas, but y'all niggas,
they will get disrespectful with him. I'm telling you. I gotta plug this because it's hilarious to me.
Well, yeah, this
follow Agent Salam Boscoe from the Bronx on any platform. I promise you, you're gonna get a post that's gonna make you laugh. Somebody gonna get mad. You're gonna read the comments. That's where it go down.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, you don't see him no more. And a couple days later, he be like, I'm back, fresh out. You be like, what?
First on the Facebook. I just got out last week. Yeah, I mean, you know me. Obviously, you've met me. I keep it 100.
You do. I'm like, dang, I got put so much. We got to keep money on your books. Then it gets you out. All right, so question.
Yeah.
All right, so we played the video, right?
Yeah.
And they touched on something about. So we talked about like You know, we from when it first originated. You
Right.
more so couple.
Right.
You got me a little bit, but however, it was substance. It was a message of unity, of being proud of what you look like, who you are, your community, your skin, your be happy with what you what you have.
Right.
And then along the lines that changed. But as we stated, like even though with the diminishing of the A&R person, the management people, and all of these things, and it was kind of like, I think after like Self-Destruction came out, and you see how major that song was for the communities, everybody had the medallions, and then you start seeing more like Boogie Down Productions on all. So when you started to see those like Queen Latifahs and everybody starting to rise, you notice that's when you start seeing the NWAs and all the message started to change because we were so solidified like together. You know, house parties was crazy, but it was respectful. The guys was respectful. You know, the females were very respectful of themselves. They weren't half naked dressed. You had images like the Queen Latifahs, your MC Lights, who it might have wore baggy clothes or whatever, but they didn't have to be naked to get recognized and to be popping because they was it.
Right.
Even though Salt and Pepper was sexy, they was covered.
They were right.
So it's kind of like, at what point do you think like that changed, or do you think like the message changed, like the hidden agenda? Because I know they talked about that's the first time you really seen somebody go in depth publicly about the agenda, especially when it came to the prison system. But then when you talk about the mentality piece, you gotta fuck with the mind. So if you constantly hear something over and over and over again, it starts to become your truth, even if it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think I think with NWA, it started with them, but I don't think it got as strong. And this is where I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I think when the Southern rappers came in, cause and it's not a diss towards anyone from the South, cause my family originates from the South, but it's always been a long, ongoing thing where they say Southerners are not that smart. You've heard it, and I felt like when the Southern rappers got involved, the beats got slower. The vocabulary started going down to where in the 80s, in the 90s, black people were very articulate. But when the Southern rappers came in,
Wu-Tang Clan had me looking up words like vernacular. I said, damn.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Right. And when the Southern rappers came into it, the music got slower. The vernacular the language went down. The speaking went down to where you're like, what did he just say? Then the subject matter, they started bringing in Purple Drink, drinking what he killed DJ Screw. He had a heart attack. Yeah,
that was that Texas, that Atlanta,
and all that stuff came into it. Then, and with Eminem, I love Eminem. They say he's a GOAT. They say he's very influential. This is what I say about Eminem. Future was big in promoting. Exactly.
Yes, he is. And he still does. And
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Right. I was going to say Lil Wayne. Precisely.
Wayne was promoting all that shit. Coke, heroin, everything under the sun. And you could tell he uses it every day.
And see, with Eminem, they said, well, Eminem was so influential. In what way? Eminem taught white kids to pop pills, disrespected their parents. That's the influence Eminem put into the game. All influence is not positive. You know what I mean? He had the white kids, and that's when he came out with the song Stan. Stan was a but he had that other song where people saying people want to be like me. His fans don't realize he was dissing them. He's like, y'all can't be like me. But they were so caught up into him. Oh, Eminem. He was dissing his fan base saying, look, y'all need to cut the bullshit. Y'all look stupid out here trying to look like me. But it goes back to Tupac. Tupac, they got the wrong message out of him. He wasn't telling y'all to do stuff. His raps are wild, but when he said thug life, he was saying, no, I'm not talking about go up there and beat people in the head. I'm saying I came from the gutter and I'm here and I'm alive. Be proud. But they didn't listen. They listened to what he was saying, but they didn't hear what he was saying.
Yeah, just like Brenda's Got a Baby.
Brenda's Got a Baby. People took that. Dude,
and ran away. He was talking about something. It's like different. People. I think the level of comprehension
because
when it comes to people, it says a lot about interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
No, they was mad at Pop because Pop could give you that message in a way, and he was targeted because of his mom. Yeah, but when he started to really understand his platform that he was on,
he had to
that poetry. Just think about you as a rapper and as a poet, because most of his music was poetry. Like even like DMX. DMX had albums about prayer, about it was actually like gospel stuff and about the Lord. And he even though he was talking about his transgressions, but also how he had to make it through and he had to look to a higher power. So it's like people wasn't understanding how powerful that is. And then when you get people that gravitate to that, and then you got professors in college institutions using your music, literature and literature classes for messages of teaching, they don't want that.
Because Pac was making a move. He was getting away from death row. He was getting away from death row. So he had to go. Yeah. He had to go.
Yeah.
And see, that's where a lot of his fans forget, or they choose to forget. They like, Pac wasn't this gangster. He tried to tell y'all, I'm no gangster. He tried to tell people. But because his music, they's like, no, Pac thug. Like, dude, y'all were not listening to what Pac was telling y'all. Mm-hmm. Y'all were not listening. Y'all were listening, but y'all wasn't hearing the message. Y'all, because y'all were too much into what he, him, the physical. Y'all were listening to him. And see, and that goes back to what we're talking about, how things change, because these people, Pac, X-Clan, Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, the Jungle Brothers, or even Ice Cube when he broke away from NWA. They were getting black men and black women say, yo, I'm black and I'm proud. And like I said, it goes back when white kids started wearing Public Enemy on their shirts. That's when they said, oh, we got to shut this shit down because these white kids are following these Negroes. Yep. And Cube did it because of a bad contract, but he also had beef with them. I'm talking about this little thing.
Giving them a different level of I don't want to say respect, but it was giving them a different vision of how to look at people of color and different ethnicities.
Right.
Because when now you can relate on something, now you want to get to know more, but then it started to spin into cultural appropriation. So then that's when it changed, because it's like, okay, you can, and I understand expanding and branching off into different things like that, but at some point, something has to stay original, and it still has to be respected for what it is.
Right.
And it because it was so easy because of a coin or a dollar amount, the respect for the culture is completely dismantled.
Right. I
don't like it.
I don't either. But I think things are slowly going back. Things are slowly going back because, like, you got that guy, NLE Chopper, who I love. He was wild, but he changed, and he basically bought out his contract, and he's doing things different. And I think he got somebody else. I can't remember who it is.
So what do you think is better? Even like, I'm sorry, the changes in music, like independent or being with a label.
Independent's better.
Why?
Because independent, you have your own freedom. One thing, you own your own music. They can't dictate what you do. Because see, if you're with a label, they own your likeness. They can use your name for whatever. So if you're independent, like King Von, I wasn't much into his music, God bless his soul, but he owned his shit. And he was able to leave his family whatever he wanted to leave him. And he didn't have to go through the courts to say, okay, I got to fight with the label, because he owned his stuff, his own music. So and you just have more freedom. You're not, Because when you're with a major label, they tell you need to put out this type. Look at what Nicki Minaj said about why she got the image she has. You know, when she first came on, because I heard Nicki before she got on record, making records when she was in Queens.
She was better before she
was
got
the freaking beast. She was a beast.
Her whole dynamic changed. Her whole, what is it called? Her whole image. Yeah, her whole
the
image.
label.
Even her image, but even down to her lyrics.
The label.
It was completely like they flipped and she was gorgeous before the surgery.
Right. She was God. Beautiful. Nicki was nice. Same with Lil' Kim.
Yep.
Lil' Kim was beautiful before the what? But see, that's what I mean. It's the label. And they say you have to produce this for us. You have to do this. This is what we want you to make. And see, it goes back to the radio stations. Because when I was working in radio, they would tell us what we had to play because they said this is what the sponsors want to hear. So that's why you got in the Black community, you hear the same type of music. That's why it started shifting to where you would hear all day, all the music you want to hear, every kind of music. But then it got to the point to where at a certain hour at night, you heard a certain type of music. Like Anita Baker, Luther, and all them. You used to hear them all day. But then it got to the point to where you only heard them after 11 p.m.
The Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm. Vaughn Harper started the Quiet Storm. God bless his soul. But 11 o'clock. If you wanted to hear rap, you had to wait till like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. But during the day now, the stuff they wouldn't hardly play, or if they played late at night, they play during the day. Because it used to be where if you want to hear that hardcore shit, you had to stay up to 10 o'clock at night. Now you can hear 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
but then if you want to hear, right, get amped up, anteed up, and see that is because the sponsors. That's why, like when you hear stations say, "Oh, we're the home of hip hop Black music," no, you're not. Clear Channel owns you. What's the other one? Viacom owns them, and it's another one that owns Black, most like 90% of the Black radio stations.
So what do you think about like because you see a lot of radio stations are not really, they like slowly, but even radio is slowly but surely like we're being wiped out because like technology changing, social media changing, different platforms are constantly being developed to especially for different types of talent, right?
Yeah.
So the capitalization changes. So now you don't have to go into the boardroom.
Right.
You gotta do certain things on certain platforms.
Right.
And who was I talking? Was it you I was talking to? And it was like, no matter the platform it is, even if you go into an office or you do something, it's still going to cost you something. At some point. But then it's kind of like you have to have the knowledge and mindset to understand or make the best decisions, like for your music. So how do you think like the technology has influenced the change as far as how distribution gets there? What's considered hot? What's considered good? What's considered all of these things? Because now it seems like it's not even up to, you don't have the A&R person or somebody to say, yeah, you good. And it's kind of like you only get with the major companies if you want to push it like to different at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to doing it, slow stepping it. But now you got like Facebook, Twitter, you can put your stuff on there and it does the same thing. Somebody can just happen to come across your stuff. All it takes is that one good click and share. Or get somebody to dance to a little snippet on TikTok.
Go viral, it's over.
I think technology is good because people who wouldn't ordinarily get a chance to get their music heard, you know, because I heard a lot of artists who are insanely dope that I say, why isn't this guy signed to a label? So, but then I hear those are like, somebody needs to take their account from them. That's trash. And see, that's the problem.
But those be the ones for like millions and millions.
But see, they're so accessible. These record companies, these radio stations were like, oh, let's get this guy. Like, let's say I'm making music where I'm talking positivity, or I'm saying battle raps, or I'm just kicking some real butter. Then you got this guy who's saying ABC 1, 2, 3, mess with me and I'll kill you in the street. Simple Simon. Those people could be like, we get this guy because he's promoting that shit. He's promoting that self-destruction. They'll forget all about me. But we don't need this guy over here because this guy, he's teaching people how to really be lyrical and how to be black and proud. And he's teaching this dude, he's teaching everything. We don't want this guy to be heard because, you know, black power is white fear. You know, so it's technology is a godsend and also an omen. You know, because people can put anything out. And a lot of these guys who are out there, like that double X, whatever his name is.
Testacion.
Whatever that guy's name. I call him Tentacles. I don't know what his name is. Like him, I never heard of him until the day he died. But it's like he got famous off of YouTube. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
Okay. But I never heard of the kid.
I gathered.
What she said?
What I gathered from that, I think, what's that guy name that had the thing that the bad concert but all the people died?
Travis.
Okay.
Travis Scott, yeah.
That dude.
That was.
So I look at Triple X. Lord. I listen to, I don't even know the name of the song.
Yeah.
Certain songs, certain messages can be detrimental and cause a person to do self-harm. And because it seems like they target people who have a certain mental status or deal with a certain mental thing. Like Triple X, a lot of his songs targeted people with depression, suicidal thoughts, and things like that. That's a trigger, right?
Yeah.
So if you got people listening to your song and then they just like, oh, da-da-da-da-da, because it's like, I get you may be battling, you know, what you're going through, and so everybody might not be there yet, but your message is also like, do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I couldn't get with that because it's like, that's very sensitive to put out there. But at the same time, even like, what's his name? Travis
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah. Your music excited people to that point.
Yeah.
To trample and stampede. And
with that, a lot of people didn't realize like that happens a lot at all of his concerts. And I get that part, but at the same time, it's that ownership. But it's like you getting off on it. But you getting off on it. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not gonna say no, but see, I do see that's the thing. All right, Rich said it wasn't his fault.
We have to talk about that.
But at the same time, it was because you got to listen to the messages and the music. Then even when certain things happen, as an artist and the trajectory, that's still your coin. You don't, the venue too, a lot of things went wrong, but at the same time, you can also stop something. Even if it's your music. But if you still inciting what's already going on, you are part of the problem. I'm not gonna say you're 100% of the problem. You are. Everybody went crazy over Michael and Prince, but at the same time, you didn't see Prince and Michael Jackson telling people to kill themselves.
No.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's messages and songs. Like I've literally listened to songs where if a person was already in a certain state of mind mentally or in a crisis, they're going to kill themselves because you're telling them to do it because you can ready do it. Or
but you know what? I want to ask the person who just posted that. How does that equate to? How does people faking at a concert equate to people acting crazy at a concert? People fake because they're like, "Oh my God, I'm seeing my favorite," you know, and it's like unbelievable, and they faint. Because look here,
like, no, but like that's why I was saying, me and Rich gonna have to have a conversation later because that's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Because
you can't control it, but you gotta understand the dynamic that you set.
Right? This is the deal.
If we have a show and people getting riled up, and I'm like, we gonna go ahead, we gonna do this. If I know people take what I say for gospel, if that's the case, we gonna unify. But I'm not gonna tell people to go out there and rob everything, and then when they do, I'm like, I ain't telling them
a person fainting is that person's that's person like that's just excitement. But when you got people running over you, when you faint, That's not a decision you're making in your mind. That's your body just saying, oh my God, boom. But a decision when you see people laying on the ground and you run over them, that's a choice. It's a big difference. If I pass out in the street right now, I pass out because it may be something physical going on. Now, if somebody run by me like, oh shit, look at Idris. Let me run over his ass. Then you say, okay, so there's a big difference between passing out and, you know, people pass out at Elvis Presley concert.
But when people tell you people are dying and not breathing, and you continue to perform, and the venue also doesn't stop, everybody has to take ownership, even including the artist. Because he was told several times, people were dying. It's a mess right here. He could have just stopped the show until order was gotten. Because first of all, me personally, if I'm an entertainer and I see people are being harmed and dying and there's children I'm going to stop until y'all get it together. I'm not doing no more, because the more that I do or say, I'm going to heighten, and it's going to do something. And the type of music that he has is not a positive message.
And you know what? With Prince and Michael Jackson, when stuff like that happened in his concerts, he reached out to the people. Michael Jackson and Prince reached out to the people. Right. They reached out to the people to make sure they were okay. Travis Scott was like, it ain't my fault.
He didn't say much. And then until things got real bad, that's when he offered to pay for funerals.
No, and he kept saying, because you mean bad.
Right. That's the difference between passing out with Michael Jackson and Prince and Travis Scott. Michael Jackson and Prince.
That's how I was going to talk, Rich.
But you just have every show. You didn't decide to change something so that injuries wouldn't occur, because at some point, they not looking at the venue or whatever as you're going to be. You're at some point and in some way you're going to be held liable. You get what I'm saying? Because of one, and like they did again when we talk about messages and substance and what it can equate to. The first thing it is, you pull up his whole album. It's all about that.
Yeah.
It's all about rage. It's all about doing. No, he made the music too. You have a choice. Okay, you have Rich. I'm not going to do this with you because you have a choice. This is my thing. Yeah, no, no, but you always have a choice.
You got a choice.
But I was just using that as a thing. But you have a choice, and at some type of time, we talked about accountability last week. You have to hold yourself accountable at some point for certain things that happen, and it's all about decision making. And as a business owner, if you are having a show or an event at a venue and people are dying, do you just continue with the event and let the people die and not give a fuck about?
You know what?
Okay, let me get. My thing is, you didn't even say let's people. My thing is, if my voice is that powerful, I'm gonna say let's make some room so these people can get help. That
you know what? And see, if it's the label, it still goes on the artist. You know why? The label had him sign he signed a contract with the label stating what they wanted you to put out. You could have said, no, I'm not doing that type of music. But he chose to say, excuse me, I'm doing this type of music. He chose that. So that's on him. The label, you can't I've opened for people. I opened for Nas. And I found with that, yeah, I opened for Nas. Yeah. I was a bodyguard one time too at one of his shows. I was a door guy. I got, yeah. Oh yeah. I done some shit, yo. Anyway, and I found with that, he checked out because he was there. Because I was one of the DJs that opened. And he checked out the venue himself. The little Civic Center here. He checked out the venue himself. He said, look, I need to make sure this, and we listened to him. And he looked out after, he said, I got to make sure these DJs are protected. Blah, 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 blah. He went all through the whole venue, and we followed because he wanted everyone who was opening to follow him. That's the artist and the label. The label just says, when you do concerts, the label really don't have much to do with it. The label just says, okay, you perform, we getting this money. When it comes to the venue, that's up to your management team to make these stuff. So that's on Travis Scott, not the label. And I can bring somebody in here. Well, not right now because we got like.
Oh, we can do it next time.
Okay, I'll bring somebody in here who will be like, That's the artist. It's up to the artist to check the venue. It's up to the management team. His roadies. That's why you got roadies. Tupac was a roadie at first. That's how he got his start. You know, we need more. I'll get you more info. That ain't no problem. Next time I'm on here, I'll bring you some more info. But that's up to the artist and his management team.
Later.
The artist and the management team, that's their job with concerts. The label has very little to do with how it's set up. The artist and the management team. And even when I do shows now, I go in there, I'm like, all right, where do I set up? Okay, let's do this. If I'm DJing, that's the responsibility of the artist. And still, let's just say it wasn't his responsibility to check the stuff out. When he saw people getting hurt, it became his responsibility. He said, yo, y'all chill. Y'all make way for EMS to get in here and help these people out. Blah, 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 blah. Not saying, yeah, let's do it. No, because then you're provoking the people to say it's okay. And that's the problem with rappers today. That's how it gets back to the beginning of our conversation. They just do shit. You know, they just do shit.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but even like Tiana Taylor was at the same venue.
Right.
And performed the same night. Same thing was happening. She said, oh, hell no, we're not doing this.
Right.
She completely stopped until they got it together.
She shut it down.
At some point, you got to take some, even if you can't fully control it, try to do something to get a handle on it.
I know Tiana was saying the show canceled if y'all can't get it together.
Yeah. Right.
Two different fan bases.
He could have done it.
But it was the same people at the venue. It was the same venue.
Your fans
are going to listen to you at the end of the day.
Right.
Fans
same
listen
people.
to you. They listen to your music, and your music is allowing them to do these actions. Then your voice, obviously, during a concert is going to make a huge difference. So why not stop the concert?
They don't clear the venues. Yeah, they don't clear the venues for new people to come in. Same people. You know, same people. And she had, you know, he handled it, and he didn't apologize until the heat got on him. Because he could have said something that night, that next day, but he was like,
he went on live like, I just don't understand.
He didn't even really cry. Hey, can I ask one question though? With that being said, because like we said, voices, messages, and I guess it's even about ownership. We can't control what people do with certain messages. Granted, Rich, you're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to substance and messages, and even like in the video that played in the beginning, they were trying to coerce them and pretty much, I don't want to say bully, but use their career and their passion as a form to sway a community of people for an ultimate goal, right? Which was for the prison system and to get as many people in there, because everybody knows prisons are big businesses. A lot of people ask Michael Jordan because he invested in them.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same Michael Jordan. It's not the same Michael Jordan. It's a white guy. But I get what you're saying.
No, I looked him up, but he do too. I went into it. Yes, that's why I don't buy Jordans.
I never.
He definitely does. He puts some money from them shoes. Look at it. I'm gonna send it to you.
That's just your word.
No, because I used to wear that's why I don't buy them, because it's like they mainly geared to the community. But I know I had made a note because everybody talk about how music is influential, no matter what type of music you listen to. Think about it. Whatever you gravitate to or whatever music you listen to daily, it sways you. Like even so, like I mentioned, like last week, when it comes to mindsets and modes and how you go about your day, what motivates you to do something. Depending on the song. Now, if I go into work and I'm listening to like a Kevin Gates or something like that, I might go into work. Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm listening to like Jen Akio or like
I'm gonna need you to say her name right.
I don't know her name like that. Jen Akio.
What did you say?
Jen Akio. Or like India Ivory. I don't get nobody's name right. Yeah,
for real. Thank you.
But if I listen to like India Ivory or Jasmine Sullivan or somebody like that, I'm more mellow when I'm good morning. You know, I'm like good morning. But if I listen to something like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
And they like,
Me too.
And that's how she treat the day too.
But they know when I'm, and it's crazy because they can tell what I got in my ears by how I come in. So a lot of people don't understand.
Music is influential. Yeah.
Music
has always been influential.
Influence.
I know if I wanted to work, I wanted to feel like I was the stuff. I'm listening to Megan Thee Stallion and Big Lotto.
Like me, I listen to like me. If I'm at work, if I need to get pumped up, I'll put on Annie Up by MOP. Something's gonna get me crazy, get me going. Now, if I'm just if it's slow and I'm sitting in the office,
mad. I had to take a second.
I know. I saw. That's why I was talking. I saw you. I saw you. Oh, now if I'm in the office and I'm doing paperwork, you know, like I said, I listen to NERE or something like that. You know, I mellow out. If I need to get pumped up, I might put some Chicago house, you know, some house music in. Music is influential. Period. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have music.
Do you think music is in a form of like oppression?
I think it can be. It's just, I think people just can't differentiate fantasy from reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's the problem. People, like with Drake. And see, this is why I be beefing with light-skinned niggas all the time. They were sitting there telling me, oh, Drake's a gangster. Da-da-da-da-da. I said, no, he's not. But because his music, they think Drake grew up in the streets. Drake grew up with a big ass silver spoon in his mouth that he couldn't even get in his mouth.
No, Neil deGrasse.
Oh, Neil deGrasse. Yeah, Neil deGrasse. Yeah, I know Neil deGrasse. In fact, Neil deGrasse.
I mean, he spelled deGrasse wrong.
You said what happened?
Look, Rich writing stuff wrong. I'm pronouncing stuff wrong.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse. Yeah, it's a science guy. But it's people. Music is influential. It is because, like I said, it goes back to Tupac. If it wasn't influential, everybody wouldn't be screaming "Thug Life" and getting little guns on their chest. You know, these guys today, like I said, Drake. People say Drake's gangster. No, he isn't. And I had to tell some guys, just because he makes the music, Drake ain't never seen the streets. But people believed it because of what he rapped about. This guy was a silver spoon kid. He was a child actor.
Yeah,
and he didn't write his own rhymes.
Wait a minute. No, we all thought he was a simp.
He was a who?
We all thought he was a simp. Wait a minute.
What's that?
Yeah, he is.
Who was I talking to this about? It was me and Jay. Me and Jay was talking about this. I told him, I was like, back in middle school when Drake first came out, everybody, we knew we thought all the boys was gay at that point because of how
bad exactly.
It was so bad.
Okay, so can we talk about it? Listen, she raised a great question. Speaking of influential, as a man, I want to ask you a question.
Of course she does.
Not only does we got the music and you got your favorite rapper. Who's the favorite? I don't know, but the style. So remember that, like, your clothes, even if like back in the day, I ain't gonna lie, I'll cool you and them. Their pants might have been slim fit, right?
Yeah.
With the Pumas and okay, and Adidas and all of that stuff. Fine, but it was on their butt, right?
Right.
So now,
I know she getting to.
You talk about busting your gun and going down the block and getting all this respect, and you the man in these streets, and then you got on a purse and a floral dress.
That crossbody bags be cute.
First of all, can I explain one thing before you answer? What I don't like is the influence that it has, and then you got some men that's in my age range that want to do the same thing. Stop laughing because I'm being real serious. And then my thing is, I'm not dating a man, and I gotta be like, babe, which bag you okay? We not having matching purses, and I don't want to sit there and be like, well, damn, your bag looks better than mine. No, where's your wallet? You have a wallet. I'm the only one that's going. First of all, we not gonna have an argument, and then you like, I'm about to go. What? You gotta pull your crossbody before you. That's not how you end in this argument.
I call these dudes today. They're like we call them back in the day. They're sissies.
Yeah.
You wearing your pants halfway down your ass. You got some tighty whities on. You rocking a purse, and you call yourself on the street. No,
but pause. This is the thing. Do you even see? No shade to nobody, and I mean this with all due respect. We are now living in a day of time where people and men who like the same sex dress more manly than men who allegedly don't like the same sex or who are into women. And it's sad to me because I be looking like, first of all, you got on leggings. And I'm not about to wash out clothes, and I'm trying to differentiate, is these mine or yours?
And then we both got nail polish on the dresser, so I'm asking you for the black.
I ain't feeling that.
Asking, should you get jewels this time?
How do you do? So even like when you see more like musical artists who be like prancing around and the dresses talking about fashion statement, do you think that's like, what is that?
Agenda.
But because you, if you know this,
you just want to know his thoughts as a man on this.
Yeah, on like, because it has to be an agenda because you're seeing it more. It started with the one dude, right? You seeing it more and more where you see guys wearing skirts. I don't care. You can't call it a kilt because we're not in that culture. We're not over there. That's not a kilt. That's a whole dress, my dude. So you got on a dress, some stockings, and some cowboy boots. Where is you going with your side, with your crossbody? And then I don't care if it's Louis, Chanel, Birkin.
Guys used to always say, like, it's not fair. We got so many options when they're coming down to outfits. All they got is pants and shirts.
The hell with that. I'll rock the pants and shirts. I'll rock the pants and shirts.
Just to have a nice little bag, I feel like.
Not no, but hell no.
With a purse.
No.
Please.
Nope.
I promise you.
Let him go fling it together like
this. You know what? I'm going to answer your question because I know you ain't got much time left. It's like this.
Okay.
This society right now has been trying to break down masculinity, especially black men, for the longest. They make it, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but when have I gave a damn?
Never.
With this cancel culture stuff and the alphabet gang saying, well, you should be able to express the way you feel. I look at it this way. You're right. You should be able to express the way you feel. So if you're wearing a dress, you're telling me how you really feel inside. If you're wearing a purse, you're telling me how you really feel inside. I want to know what I don't want to know. What are you wearing under your pants? Or what are you wearing under your skirt? Are you wearing BVDs? Are you wearing boxer briefs? Are you wearing tidy whities? Or are you wearing some Victoria's Secrets or Fredericks of Hollywood? I don't want to know, but I want to know. These
they
dudes,
be skinny, so it's probably
they want to be feminine, but want to be seen as men. But they want to cross over. Because I see even right here where I live right here, there's a lot of young boys out here, gay and Liberace, but they keep it on the low. I tell my kids, yo, watch these little niggas out here because they doing their homies. If they want to be with their homies 3 nights a week and they come see you for 5 minutes, you know why they like it? Because they getting it like this. They going to ACDC. They getting it like this. One's going in, the other one's going in. That's how they doing it. And men do it one way unless they don't want to get dirty. Let's keep it 100 in. They do it one way unless they don't want to get dirty. If they are of a 7-day week, they are with their homies most of those nights. There's a reason why they're over there. And it's not just to get high, because it ain't that much getting high in the world. They are
having Bible class like they were saying on the social
media. They laying hands on each other.
I know you lying, you be paying attention to memes. You better stop.
These call me homophobic, which I'm not. Call me whatever you want to call me, but these niggas are gay.
I had a disclaimer.
Period.
No, but I don't even,
disclaimer. The opinions made on this show by me. This is a disclaimer. The opinions on the show by me does not reflect the opinions of Kazual Konvo. These are my opinions.
No, it don't reflect the opinions of Ham Radio.
Okay, yeah. These niggas are gay on the low.
I think the same thing. Because I'm sorry, if you approach me with a skirt, some
I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't because I'm not walking with you.
And you got a Chanel bag.
I ain't walking with you.
You got a Chanel bag on your arm.
I ain't walking with you.
You can't possibly like me. That means you might think I'm transgender.
Yeah, you ain't my homie. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And they might think I'm doing you, the dude. I'm like, nah.
I ain't into begging.
I'm strictly into seafood, homie. Period.
I'm not a pegger.
Right. And you know what, men can pay themselves.
Anyway, all right. So we had like 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
Can you summarize? I want you to do it because you're good.
Mm-hmm.
You can summarize everything up
into one little
bubble.
Okay.
Stuff.
The way I see it with the rap game, even with R&B, the video basically nails it. Because back in '97 we spoke about this. A few of friends was like, "There's something going on." Everything changed because, like I said, hip hop was urban, and I look at it today and back then. A lot of rappers hate New York rappers, but New York rappers did what they did because they wanted to maintain the pure, the hip hop in its purest form. And I was there. Even when it got out to New Jersey and Philly, we were mad because, like, look, things are going to change. And when it got outside the city, we get mad because, like, this is not what hip hop was meant to be. This is not what hip hop was to be, where you say the greatest rapper of all time is Eminem, just like they did with rock and roll, And like I said, the men talk about having sex and killing. The women talk about having sex and being bitches. None of them say, okay, let's be proud of ourselves. If you speak knowledge, then you're called a hater, you're called old, and you need to get out the game. Period. That's this generation. When I say this generation, I don't mean it's not age specific.
I know you got 1 minute, but can you answer this one question?
Yeah.
What do you think hip hop would look like if the culture would have stayed the same as back in the day?
It'd have been dope.
Fashion
wise, you've seen the fashions of the '90s. If it had stayed pure, you would have more intellectual rappers you could put a beat on any beat and they can just go. Today, these rappers have to rap on one type of beat. The music would be so vast, so much variety. You can turn on the radio and say, dang, I never heard that before. Now you know who the hot rappers are. Back then, like, who's hot? Because everybody was blowing up. Yeah. It'd be an actual culture.
I'm gonna have to call you after this, and we're gonna have to figure out another.
I'm available every Wednesday, so hell.
To continue this conversation because it was good. Thank you. So
tell your boy I'm gonna bring somebody in to verify what I said. Next time I'm gonna bring somebody in.
All right, we're gonna discuss a date and time afterwards. Okay. You always welcome. This like your second home to keep you out of jail. Oh, you said, well, I got some. All right, my other show, I'm going to push it back. Can you do next week?
Yeah, I'm off on Wednesdays.
All right, well, we're going to do part 2 next week, and we'll do the other one after that. But I got another one I'm going to ask you about, too.
Okay.
But, okay, so we'll do part 2 next week and continue the conversation.
Okay.
But thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. As usual.
Always awesome learning experience and always fun.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who listened, watching, Kazual Konvo, supporting. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, download the Hand TV app. See your TV, your phone, all of that good stuff. Also, download the Hand Radio app so you can also listen to all the shows, especially Kazual Konvo on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. And also, you can go to handradio.org to check out all the past shows and everything like that. You can follow me on, what's my IG?
Oh, yeah,
Kazual
Konvo.
Coco on social media, Facebook, YouTube, everything.
The shows are all on YouTube. My Instagram is @__GOOFYY.
Cause she goofy. Mixed Magician on you at Mixed Magician, IG, Idris Alone, Facebook, Twitter is Boscoe from the Bronx.
Always.
There you go. Productions.
You can find him if he's not in jail.
Exactly. We're gonna be bailing him out soon.
See you guys next week.
All right, man.